Well, for many women, the 1930s was a very difficult time, and so to escape the ugliness around them, they created beauty in the form of quilts. It had practical purposes, of course, like keeping their families warm, but it also helped ease their stress and foster their creativity. They shared patterns like recipes. But unlike a cake that you put in the oven, you bake it, and it's done, many of these quilt patterns, well, they were never completed. My next guest is out to finish what they started. Gyleen Fitzgerald has written this book. It's called Quilts, Unfinished Stories with New Endings. Gyleen joins us this morning as part of our book author series. Hello, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, good morning. Good to be here.
You know, it sounds like a really daunting task to finish these quilts. How many quilts are we talking here?
There was 22 that were finished for the book. And it took me 2 years, 2.5 years full time to finish them, but they were well worth finishing.
2.5 years to finish the quilts. What made you do this? Did your grandmother quilt? Was there a legacy of quilting in your family?
No, I am the first quilter in my family. Actually, it started because a very good friend of mine, Barbara, is an antique collector and kept running into unfinished antique textiles at antique shops. And she's also a quilter, having an affinity for quilts, brought the pieces to me and says, can't you do something with these?
Isn't that nice?
This is what I did.
The thing that I often think about is when you do a project like this, and we talked about the fact that, you know, these women in the 1930s, they shared quilts like they share recipes, but isn't it also kind of a bonding thing? Doesn't it help you connect with the women around you as well? It's kind of like the ties that bind, that connect us all together.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's a thread. It's a thread going, it's very generational, it passes down, you feel the warmth, you feel the love. Anything made by your hands, just like food, is just something that it brings to the giver. And the receiver receiving it always has a piece of you. So yes, it's a very generational thing.
Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things that struck me too is it's almost like this is, you know, a physical thing as well as emotional, because of course they provide the warmth, right, which is the physical, but it also provides that connection, which is the emotional.
Yes. And you feel loved.
You feel loved.
Because, I mean, most of the kids were sick when the grandmother wrapped the quilt around them.
Yes.
And some people remember that somebody made the quilt that was like heavy, like iron, that they were tucked into bed with. So they couldn't move. I mean, the kids were like trapped in the bed.
And listen, those quilts were heavy. So you were like this. All you can move was your head and your eyes when you're in bed.
But you felt loved and you felt warm.
Yeah. You know, and one of the things I did want to bring up to our audience, and it may be a little bit difficult for you to see, but all of these quilts are quilts that were unfinished, that you finished, but there are interesting stories behind these quilts, and some of them have little stains on them, and some of them, you know, are a little bit imperfect, but you say that's what you love about these quilts, and tell me why.
A lot of quilters, especially people with anything that's marred, they want perfection, but life isn't perfect. We're not perfect. So for me to see a textile where the block would have ended here and you would have had what we call an age line, they either would have cut it off or thought that was not something they wanted. I mean, we have a tablecloth that gets a red juice stain on it, and we tend to keep trying to get that off instead of keep telling the story of who put the stain on the tablecloth as it wears, and every time you use it, you see it, and the story gets told and told, and the more you love it, and then the more you'll keep it.
My grandmother quilted, and she passed away about 3.5 years ago, and you know, I regret that I don't have something of hers, you know, don't have that to remember her by. Why is it important that you continue to keep this alive? Why is this so important to you? Because it is your passion.
Right. It's about a memory, and things that you don't use, your loved ones will not remember that you even loved them. You know, they'll keep what you ever had on your bed, even if you paid $5 for it, something that you spent 2 years doing. If you choose not to use it, they don't see it. And they don't know. There's something that is made by hand, truly with one's hand.
Sure. Yes.
That whether it's woodworking or anything that is cherished, especially now where our lifestyle is so fast that we tend not to indulge in that kind of art form anymore, that we really cherish when it was done by hand.
I have to tell you, the pictures in the book are absolutely amazing because there are generations of quilters. It's like passed down from mother to daughter, and the pictures all tell a story. Why was it important to include these pictures and these stories in the book?
Well, when I was doing the research for it, I reviewed about 20 people's photo albums, and what I learned was we all take the same pictures. Everybody's life, no matter where they are in the world, no matter how old, how young, how rich, how poor, what ethnicity, always have the child on the pony, the birthday party, the wedding that was in the house. We take pictures of the same things. We cherish the same things. So like quilts, it connects us. And it says we are really different, but we're really fundamentally exactly the same. And so not only was it important for me to capture what these women were thinking and relate it to what we do now, but also to capture those photographs so that you would see old black and whites and realize 50, 60, 70 years later, we're still taking the pictures of the very same things.
And we are. I have the horse picture. My sons have the horse picture, so you're right. And I have to tell you, Gyleen, thank you so much for keeping this legacy alive. Really fascinating and wonderful work that you're doing.
Thank you.
And once again, the book is called Quilts, Unfinished Stories with New Endings. For more information on Gyleen or the book, please visit her website at colorfulstitches.com.